You busted me. I was still going at my cough drop. But I'm here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily, yummy cough drop. Our daily get together live here on Facebook, 10:30 in the morning, every single day, where we exchange headlines, topics, comments, suggestions, tips, questions, ideas, anything that can help us have a most amazing life here in sunny, chilly Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals. It is always a pleasure to get together with you every single day because I always learn something new from you, and I always feel purposeful after I've had the opportunity to hang out with you in this community that you so lovingly nurture and participate in every single day. What a great present to have. It is a pleasure to be here. And it is a pleasure to welcome wonderful friends that we've been getting to know over the past few months. And if by chance you're here for the first time, please let us know. Please write the word new in your comments so that we can welcome you properly. And if you have anything important that you want to discuss, please add the letter Q at the beginning of your question or comment. That way we'll make sure to get to it most likely during the broadcast, and if not, we'll get to it afterwards when I check all the comments from the broadcast. Let us take a look at, yes, we caught Paco with his mouth full. That was a cough drop. I was navigating. It is great to see you all. It is great to laugh with you. Que onda, Alan? It's great to see you. Good morning, Claude. I'm looking forward to seeing you in a little while. Some of us are going to go on a walking expedition. And today couldn't be a better day. Alberta is in the house with Curtis and Karen watching. Thank you very much for joining us. Chicago's in the house. Donald Hallberg. It's funny because I look at some of your Facebook faces, your Facebook photos, and I always get happy because I see faces that I have not seen before. So it is a pleasure to have you join us. Who else is here? Dana Douglas. I also don't recognize that icon. So if you're new, welcome to Coffee and Headlines. It's a pleasure to see you today. Hello, Kelly. Oh, that's great to know. You're coming back. Fantastic. This is wonderful. Let's see what else we have. Blankets on the bed last night. I hear ya. I've been using my cotton blankie for a few days now, and that feels good. James cuts to the chase with "Buen dia, chingones." I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. How cool. Is that a question? Well, it is very cool. It is cool right now. We'll get to the weather in a second if that question was for me. Please announce what day it is early in your open. Oh, okay. Today is Saturday. Saturday, December 19th. All day long. It's Saturday. I promise. Let me cough for you. Hold on. There you go. Feeling much better. It is Saturday all day long. Today is Saturday. Just in case you're wondering. Let's see what else we have. La 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 la. Hotel Mercurio is in the house. Of course, Hotel Mercurio is in the house. Paul, dear, that face you wear, I'm concerned about that. Make it a smiley face. You've had that frown for a few days now. What is making you pensive, Piba? Give us a nice smile. Linda is sitting here in Fluvial with her Luna. Fine. We have a Luna competition. I love it. Anyhow, we're all gathered today. Oh, Jorge is new. Welcome to the show, Jorge. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. I hope you find what you're looking for here. If you are a local, this is the place to be because this is where we discuss things that concern us as English-speaking locals. If you are a tourist or a visitor, we may not have all the answers for you just because many of the answers tourists and visitors seek are widely available elsewhere online. So here we focus on things that concern us that live here all year long, or for the most part, or in our mindset, we are locals. So let us take a look at your comments. Luna, you have competition because there's other Lunas out there. So I want to make sure that you, hey, pay attention. Luna. Yes, honey. You have competition. So put on a happy face, for crying out loud. There are other Lunas in the universe, and people need to see that you are the Luna. There you go. There you go. So, anyhow, back to the news. Today is a complicated day because we are going to talk, for the most part, about the murder of former governor, Jalisco Governor Aristóteles Sandoval. We're going to discuss safety. We want to make sure that we address some concerns that you may have. Has anyone seen an English translation of Alfaro's video message last night? I saw it in Spanish, and I'll be happy to let you know what went on. That is part of what we're going to talk about today. And again, there are things that might make us feel a bit concerned, and there are things that I want to make sure that we're all on the same page so that if you have any concerns, you are not going to be more worried than you should. Hold on just. See, I can't laugh anymore because I laugh and I start getting coffee. Anyhow, coffee as in cough, not coffee as in drinking coffee. Let me take a quick look at the news with you so that we can navigate this uncertainty together. Let's go there. Okay, so let us start with what our own mayor said yesterday, which is, do not misunderstand, Puerto Vallarta is safe. Arturo Dávalos, our mayor, very quickly went out to speak in public. He is sitting here next to the state prosecutor, who is this gentleman over here. And our mayor said, we are very sorry about what happened, but we are working at the 3 levels of government and our city is safe. I know they sound like empty words, but we're going to get to whether we should feel safe or we shouldn't feel safe. And then I will let you get to your own conclusions on your own. I'll cut to the chase. I feel safe, but I am concerned, and I will explain myself at the end of this segment. For starters, as somebody just mentioned, yes, our governor came out live on Facebook yesterday afternoon saying that this was a blow, the murder of Aristóteles Sandoval was a blow to the Mexican state, to the Estado. That means to the institution of Mexico. In his words, he said, what we have just lived was not just a murder. It is a challenge against our government. It's an enormous challenge that forces us or obligates all the institutions to not let the guard down, to send a clear message that we will not be doblar. Doblar literally means to fold, but I believe that in this context, the word would be subjugated. I'm not entirely sure, but we will not be we will not be subjugated, I think. That we're going to continue working to recover peace and tranquility in our state. This is a moment to be together because we are dealing with delinquents that are looking to place our state in a state of fear and hesitance, he said yesterday. He indicated as well that he got in touch very early in the day with the family and made a commitment to them to figure out exactly what happened to the smallest of details. And that was in a nutshell what the governor said. Of course, we know that the prosecutor's office of the state has been trying to find any kind of clues and questioning people, questioning the staff at the restaurant, questioning people at nearby hotels and businesses, and so forth and so on. We also know that, of course, that this happened at District 5. And we know that federal forces were over the city to make sure that people were researched and questioned and so forth and so on. As you know, traffic yesterday in the city was horrendous because all the accesses to Fluvial, at least the access that is right next to the restaurant where this happened, was closed down. And then, of course, there is this issue of the fact that the restaurant staff cleaned the scene of the crime by the time of that the prosecutor's team arrived there. Everything was squeaky clean, and by law, our Constitution says that the people that cleaned could receive up to 3 years of jail for altering a crime scene. A crime scene. I'm sorry about that. So this is just one of the first questions that have begun to arise. You know, why would the staff remove alter the crime scene? Then there are questions regarding the fact that Aristóteles Sandoval, the man that was murdered, the ex-governor, did he have enough safety or security assigned to him or not? Because apparently he had some, but he didn't have as many as were assigned by the state. So now there are questions as to whether the state had cut down his allocation of security personnel, et cetera, et cetera. Then, of course, we heard from other ex-governors, Francisco Ramirez Acuña and Alberto Cárdenas Jiménez, who are also ex-governors of the state of Jalisco. And they, of course, were the first to criticize the fact that unless this crime is resolved, we are going to continue to live in an increasing place where there is uncertainty as to whether the governor, the actual governor, Enrique Alfaro, is able to maintain proper security in the states. We know that Alfaro has been very good about this whole business of COVID and making sure that people understand what we need to do, et cetera, et cetera. But if you think about this, ever since we started Coffee and Headlines, we've looked at 4 very notorious murders that have taken place in the state. 3 of them have taken place here in Puerto Vallarta. We first heard about the Giovanni, the construction worker in some municipality elsewhere. And he was murdered because he was not wearing a face mask. He was taken into custody by policemen here in the state of Jalisco. And the following morning, when his family went looking for him, he was dead. He was taken to a hospital and he was dead. So at the beginning, the governor said, we're going to figure out what happened to Giovanni. And the state prosecutor said the same thing. And to this date, and this was several months ago, we have yet not heard a single thing about that incident, number one. Number two, we remember about that group of Guanajuato tourists that arrived in Puerto Vallarta on their quads, on their special motorcycles, and how a group of them was detained and kidnapped in Fluvial, and somehow some of them were taken away, others went out on their own, and nobody ever came out to explain to us or to anyone what happened with that situation. Number three, we had the murder of Felipe Tomé, a very well-known real estate person um, here in Puerto Vallarta, and it is a fact that still there are no details about this. But I continue to feel safe, and we'll get to that in a second. And of course, now there's the murder of Aristóteles Sandoval. Um, and what this does to our state and to our state of officials is that it increases the necessity of them to be able to not just throw things under the rug and to respond properly. Now, there's a lot of criticism against the state prosecutor. Now, people are saying, well, the state prosecutor should be removed from his job simply because they are unable. Look at a giant calamari. Good Lord. They are unable to figure out what is exactly going on in these situations. As we were saying just a few days ago, it is no longer a time in which you can just throw these things under the rug and think that they're not happening. But let me go back to the original question. Do I feel safe? Is Puerto Vallarta safe? And I'm going to throw this at you because I want to know exactly, well, not exactly, I want to know how safe you are feeling. And I'm going to put a poll. Actually, before I put the poll up, let me tell you how I feel about the whole thing. We know for a fact that the organized crime, the cartel, have influence in our state. They have influence in other states. They have influence in other countries. They have influence around the world. We know that tourism is important to the drug cartels because, for better or worse, it is a lot of tourists that come here and provide for the drug cartels. Whether you like to discuss it or not, it's a fact. So when the place shuts down, when it shuts down because of COVID or because of whatever, it is bad for business for everyone, including the cartel. So do I think the cartel are interested in reducing their opportunities to make money? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So are the drug cartels or is organized crime deliberately trying to make Puerto Vallarta unsafe so that people will not come here? No, I don't think so. And what I mean by that is I don't think what happened last night, or 2 nights ago rather, is something that is likely going to happen to you and I or to ordinary people like ourselves. These are big quarrels among big people, and of course now big people need to respond to everyone. So I don't feel unsafe, but I am curious about just how safe or unsafe you are feeling. So that's why I'm putting a question up on today's poll. Are you feeling as safe as you did last week? Yes or no? I'm looking forward to seeing your responses. And meanwhile, I will take a look at some questions that you may have or comments that you may have. I'm going to be looking for those cues. Hold on just a second. Good morning, dear Paco from Dawson Creek. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I had a great vacation. Let's see. Are you still here? Oh, Luna's still here. Let me put Luna on because boink. Well, she's covering my nativity, but the nativity is going to be there for quite a few days, or at least until Christmas. Christmas is next week. My goodness. I love question. Has anybody seen? Oh, we already talked about that. Never mind. We already talked about that. There's a new person here, Raimundo Velasco. Buenos dias, Raimundo. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. I hope you find what you're looking for. Grab a cup of your favorite beverage and just get comfortable. Of course, Sandoval was covered elsewhere. It's a huge deal. I mean, and you're right. 2 assassinations in a couple of weeks is not comforting. But if I told you how many people have been murdered in Puerto Vallarta or Jalisco or Mexico or anywhere in the last couple of weeks that you did not even hear about, then you would not feel uncomforted. And it's important that we keep this in mind. These are the murders that we hear about. There are other murders that go on that you don't hear about just because they don't make it to the news or they're not important enough. Does that mean that we should be even more frightened? Of course not. Of course not. Murders happen everywhere. And if we were to look at the numbers, we would find that there's violence here as much as there's violence anywhere else. Um, Oh my goodness. Did Bloomberg really say that? The latest sign of worsening insecurity shaking Latin America's second largest economy. Well, that's a big statement. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Da, 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 da. Kelly, thank you for that. Uh, and this is absolutely true. Yes. Let's see. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Mm. Let's take a quick look. Crime scene. Crime scene. Oh, come on. You guys need to cut me some slack on when I make mistakes. The name of the restaurant is District 5 or District 15. I forget the exact name. It's located across the street from Galerias. Um, thank you for your concerns, Brenda. I have rhinitis. That's my new word. I have rhinitis. If I have a cough, it's because I have problems with my nose. And but rest assured that I've been safe and I take very good care of myself. It's just that I always wake up with the sniffles. Um, Ooh, I'm looking at the results of your polls, but I won't reveal them just yet. Let's see. I feel safe in PV. Also, I feel safe where I live in Oakland, California, which has a terrible reputation. Um, that's very true. That's very, very true. Um, Interesting that tourism supports the cartel. Yes, absolutely. Think about it. Think about it. Why do you think? Okay. This is speculation. This is complete speculation. So don't be spreading this out as news. Why do you think? A few months ago we were condemning those clandestine parties that were happening here, there, and everywhere. But if you ask anybody that was there, there were there were people selling drugs at those parties, and there were little cars parked outside of the parties waiting for you to approach them and buy whatever it is that you need to buy to have a good time. We know that there are people that represent the drug business that that stand around in bars, gay or straight. This is not about the gay scene because the gay scene does get a lot of frowning, a lot of criticism. But out in nightclubs, whether they're gay or straight, you find people that sell drugs. And if there are no people going to the venues to buy drugs, then the cartel suffers as much as anybody else for the lack of business. Um, do I feel safe as a journalist? I do because I just tell the news. I just tell I don't go out and dig deep um, about what's going on. I'm just telling what I'm reading. If I was a research journalist or an investigative journalist and I was going to visit with officials and asking hard questions and so forth and so on, no, then I might feel a little concerned. But I feel perfectly fine because Luna is looking after me, right, girl? Things are good. Things are good. Let's see what else. Yes, absolutely. You are correct, Catherine. Tourism is a great, huge market for them. Um, my question is why they have to murder in such a public place, knowing that they can't sell their drugs if tourists come to Vallarta because of fear. That is a complicated question. Um, uh, the only analogy that I can think of is a little harsh, but think about that one owner of a live venue here in Puerto Vallarta that is constantly laundering his laundry in public through Facebook rants and so forth and so on. If this particular individual was not making any noise, would anybody pay any attention to him? No. So I think the cartel needs to, in organized crime, needs to make noise so that the authorities know, hey, we're still here in case you're wondering. So that is a very simplistic way to look at it. I didn't mean to imply that it is not okay to go on Facebook and rant about your personal misery. Um, let's not even go there. Let me see. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 da, 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 da. Uh, I know that it is so easy for you to compare safety here versus safety in the States, and I appreciate where you're coming from. But of course, this is a different country and this is different parameters and so forth and so on. Um, what hotels do the cartel own? Oh my goodness, I have no idea, Lynn, and I doubt that anybody would know that as a fact. There's a lot of hearsay in town, but I don't even know. Um, let's see. Okay, so I am uh, done with your questions. Yes, it is about sending a loud message, absolutely, and putting pressure on the government. I mean, if you ask me, why do you think Puerto Vallarta was allowed to open bars late at night when the rest of the state was not? My hunch, and again, this is not news, this is hunch. This is not news. My hunch is that the cartel put pressure on the government and said, you got to let us work. You got to let us make some money. Otherwise, things might get a little ugly. So I think that's what happened. If you remember, there was a period in which the governor was very clear about nothing can open, so forth and so on. And then in a matter of just a few days, the things seem to have changed, and the governor started looking the other way, and all of a sudden, boom, bars were allowed to operate up until late night here in Puerto Vallarta. So my hunch is that that had a lot to do with the cartel putting some kind of pressure on the government to let them make some money as well. I think we've let the survey up a little bit, or long enough rather, so that we can take a look at your answers. And I am happy to see that most of you feel as safe as you felt before, and and according to the numbers that I look at, 86% of you feel safe, and 14% of you don't feel as safe as before. What I can say to you that don't feel as safe as before, I I hear you. I hear you, and I hope that we all continue to feel safe, or as safe as we can. I will continue to provide whatever information we can find that can help substantiate the fact that this is a safe city. Yes, the government of Jalisco has some very important questions to answer in the near future, and I am sure they will find a way to answer those in the best possible way. Let me now move on to some other bits of news that I have. This has nothing to do with us, but it is good to know that the United States has authorized the use of the Moderna vaccine as a second option to be able to be used in the United States. I don't believe this affects the vaccine schedule in Mexico in any way, shape, or form, because to the best of my knowledge, we are continuing to work with the Pfizer vaccine, and the schedule has already been put in place. I do have some sobering news about COVID elsewhere in the country. Mexico City and surroundings, things are not as good in Mexico City. Mexico City is back in the red zone as far as COVID is concerned, which means that starting Monday, everything but essential businesses is closed in Mexico City. Talk about a grim Christmas to spend when restaurants are not even allowed to open, and the only thing they can do is to offer takeout service. So when we think about how we are here in Puerto Vallarta, things could be a lot worse. So it is Mexico City and the state of Mexico, so Mexico City and the metropolitan area around it, that are back in the red, and and this is unfortunate for them. And for us, it means that it is most important that we continue to follow our guidelines. There is this interesting article that I found in which Hugo Lopez Gatell spoke about the fact that mathematical models seem to indicate that um, we will see a decrease in cases starting on January the 3rd if we continue following the safety guidelines. However, he does say that if by this January the 10th, the numbers don't show a steady decrease, that is supposed to become being apparent on the 3rd, that the government may be ready to take harsher measures. Now, let us remember for a second that here in Mexico, our president, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, has decided not to make anything mandatory or law. However, it is very possible that if the numbers don't improve, that our country may be forced to take harsher measures that would compromise our ability to go out and so forth and so on. Let us keep our fingers crossed. Let us take care of ourselves and do what we know we are supposed to do, and wait and see. Let me take a quick look at your comments before we head over to the weather and one more headline that I wish to share with you. Pam, 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 pam. Dun, 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 dun. I know that this is not as fun and as exciting as we usually have, but these news are important, and I do feel the responsibility of sharing them with you. And then my friend Carlos sends me a little flower. I think you look very handsome every single day. Guapo. Mwah. Um, Is this the same guy who you talked about a few weeks ago, something about his girlfriend and he was under investigation? No. The person that we talked about then was Luis Munguia. Luis Munguia is a local politician that is hoping to run for mayor, as I understand it, here in Puerto Vallarta. And I know that he's been knocking on certain doors. I know that he's been knocking on some friends' doors that are part of the gay community to see if they are interested in supporting him, and different person altogether. Let's see. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Concern is that with the holiday season, the folks from Mexico City will be arriving in Puerto Vallarta by the plane loads. These individuals will be likely bringing the virus with them, and that is the bad news. Actually, Lucina, I am going to take a slight bit of issue with your comment, only because by saying specifically that you fear that the Mexico City folks are going to bring the virus here, you are in a way saying that Mexicans are going to bring the virus here. And I personally have a problem with that. I respect and appreciate what you're saying, and I seriously doubt that your comment is racist. The fact is, Lucina, folks come here from all parts of the world, and they can potentially be very well behaved visitors, and potentially they can be total assholes. But I would certainly not dare to single out people flying in from Mexico City any more than I would single out people coming here from San Francisco or Montreal. And I certainly would not single out any of those people because I think that would be discriminatory. But that's just me. Let's see. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. Okay, I think I am ready. Oh, you only say that because they're in the red. And I know that you're not intending to be racist. I did not want to imply that. But I cannot tell you what to do or not to do, but I am very careful with the way I express my remarks in public. And sometimes I fuck up. Everybody does. But I just make sure that I don't come across as somebody that discriminates or is racist in any way, shape, or form. You're welcome to look at it or you're welcome to not. Let's see. I think anyone coming in is putting PV at risk. Linda, um, I know that your eyes are wide open. The whole world is at risk. The whole world is at risk. And people going from one place to another, anywhere, people are at risk. So I would invite you to consider the fact that Puerto Vallarta, by the numbers, is doing much better than other parts of our state, and by the numbers, is doing much better than other parts of Mexico, and by the numbers, is doing much better than other parts of the world. So you may not need to display three exclamation marks. Maybe one is more than enough. And I don't think you need to be all that concerned. I invite you to use your energy to focus on taking care of yourself and taking care of your loved ones. My friend Earl, who is watching from Provincetown, which is another important big tourist destination, a big LGBT destination, tells us that numbers remained low, and the comment is directly related to those concerned about tourism coming to our destination. Again, the whole world is going through through danger right now, and I personally feel that our energy is best used taking care of ourselves than losing sleep over statistics. But again, that's just my point of view. I'm going to now pause for the weather and give you one more headline before we close the show, because it's already 11 and there's 167 of you watching. This is really wonderful. Here, let's go to the news. Boom. The weather. Let's go to the weather. Yes, let's go to the weather. I see Sharon Topper here. Hi, Earl. Hi, Paco. She says, this is my beloved cigarette girl, Siggy. I hope your last show, your holiday show from Provincetown last night was really wonderful. I missed it, unfortunately. But you know, Sharon, that I have the best memories of you and Zoe. I hope you come back to Puerto Vallarta sometime soon. But now, let's take a look at the weather. Brrr, it's 23 degrees. It's 74 degrees Fahrenheit. It's cold. I feel the breeze coming in from the window right now. It feels like 24 degrees. Humidity is 50% right now, which is low. So it'll be a great day to go walking upriver, which is what I intend to do in a little while. Partly cloudy through the day today with a high of 29, a low of 17. Tomorrow it'll be clear through the day. High 29, low 19, and we begin our week with partly cloudy through the day, a high temperature of 28 and low temperature of 19. So it's going, what? It's snowing in Provincetown? How crazy is that? I got to experience that once in my life. I went to spend New Year's Eve in Provincetown, and it was so eerie to walk down to the beach and to see the beach covered with snow. Anyhow, I have one kind of leisurely headline to share with you. There was not a lot of leisure going on today, but this is an article that I found in Huffington Post that features 13 words or phrases that could totally confuse pre-COVID us. And these are just words and phrases that became popular ever since the pandemic began, starting with flattening the curve. For me, before the pandemic, that would have had something to do with my belly, or perhaps all this COVID that I have accumulated down here. Then we have community spread. We have Zoom. We would have never talked that much about Zoom before. Doom scrolling. This year gave us a lot to mentally grapple with. We would have taken a mental break from our phones and often unplugged. Instead, we spent most of our nights doom scrolling, they call it, when we just do exactly what I'm doing right now. Megxit is the moniker for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. I'll have to remember that, I suppose. Quarantine fatigue, well, we know what that is. COVIDiots, we know as well. Quarantine Bay, this is new to me, turns out to be a romantic interest you see during lockdown because dating around and hooking up as you normally might is risky business. So, how is your quarantine bay doing today? I wonder. Herd immunity, we've heard and we now know what it means. Cottage core, apparently Gen Z people think about some kind of homebody pastoral existence. Never heard of that word before. Uh, our little church cottage, I love it. A super spreader event, well, we know about those thanks to you know who, just north of the border. Pandemic pod or social bubbles, we know that. Blur's Day, we are in Blur's Day. I love Blur's Day because we do seem to live in Blur's Day. You don't know if it's a Monday, you don't know it's a Friday, you don't even know what month it is, and I totally can relate to that. And I hope you were amused by that. And of course, I will share that with everything else that we talked about today in the show notes. And the show notes are coming up late this afternoon. I'm going to go out on a mission right after the broadcast. So let me take a quick look at your final comments. Let's see what we have. I see little hearts and other icons floating up through the messages. I don't see where you get them. You get them on Facebook when you comment or certain things that you like in the broadcast or things that make you react and laugh and so forth and so on. They should be available to you whether you're watching on your computer or your tablet or your phone. That's what those are. Kelly says just right of the comment area. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Blur's Day is right on. I love it. Okay, so I think I am caught up with your comments and questions and suggestions. Again, the goal here is not to make you more concerned than you were before. If I have made you or Luna has made you inadvertently more concerned than you were before, then I sincerely apologize. Right, Luna? Our goal here is primarily to help us have better grip on the context of what's going on so that we can be better informed and understand the circumstances of what happens, whether it has to do with murders or whether it has to do with discovering Mexico's wonders or our current health situation. As always, I appreciate wholeheartedly the fact that you've spent time with us today and every single day. If today's broadcast has brought a smile to you or has brought you a better understanding of how things work here in Mexico and how things move here in Mexico, then consider the link below. As you know, tomorrow is Sunday, so tomorrow is Sunday Fun Day. So tomorrow we'll have absolutely no news. We'll just be completely silly and juvenile as we always are. I already see a penis of the week that was sent to me. So hopefully we'll have a really, really fun Sunday. And if I don't see you tomorrow, just stay kind and stay well informed. Try to balance the information that you get from reliable sources and keep it aside from the information that you might get from someone that says, oh, somebody told me, or I read somewhere, and stuff like that. Let us be as best informed as we can, and let us have a good time, and let us get together again sometime soon. Take care.